Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hi everyone. My name is Atiqah binti Anwar. My matrix number is 055483.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NURSHAHIDA binti RAMLI and my matric number is 056342 and I'm from band 4B.
Hi, my name is AZLIN binti Kamis. My matric number is 055977 and I'm from band 4B.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is DANIYAH binti RAZI. My matric number is 056141 and I am from band 4B.
Hi, my name is ZALIKHA binti AZWA and my matric number is 055825 and I'm from band 4B.
World Autism Awareness is celebrated on 2nd April every year. According to the National Autism Society of Malaysia, Autism Spectrum Disorder, or ASD, is a complex development disability because of neurological disorder affecting brain function. Usually, symptoms of ASD can be seen at the age of 2 to 6. In some cases, autistic people do not speak at all, but they mainly develop speech even though their speech is delayed, restricted, or improper. Some will pick up from people around them and repeatedly use words, sentences, or phrases that they keep on hearing. Children start to acquire language at the age of 1. During the linguistic period, which are from 1 to 5 years old, children can make what we consider as complicated things such as conjoining sentences, asking questions, using appropriate pronouns, and other more. Even though a lot of times these sentences are not perfect, people can still understand them. Language acquisition is influenced and controlled by two factors, which are biological and environment. In this video, we will be discussing about two things. The first question is, how does a child with autism acquire his first language? And the second is, what are the factors affecting his language acquisition?
Scholars have varied opinion on how children with autistic spectrum disorder ASD acquire the first language. For example, Nadej Forten claimed that the acquisition process of autistic children differs from that of normal children, which is by acquisition by immersion, in that they need speech therapy support. The author suggests three hypotheses that support the said statement, which are dissociation between comprehension and linguistic production in autistic children, deficit in theory of mind in autistic population, in addition to an verbal autistic children explaining that delay, and also deficit in TOM in all autistic population but with different degrees of impairment. Other than that, there is also a study that scrutinized about the first language acquisition and found that pragmatic abilities in ASD are particularly impaired, with children showing consistent difficulties in responding to questions and sharing and requesting information, as well as with the production of narratives. Besides, Tager-Flusberg suggests that autism does not involve a fundamental impairment in grammatical ability.
This case study main objective was to determine and illustrate how an autistic child acquires their first language. Therefore, it seems suitable for us to employ the case study research design. A case study is an in-depth study of a particular situation rather than a sweeping statistical survey. The subject of this case study is named Muhammad Daim Zahran bin Zakaria. He is 4 years old, born to a happy middle-class Malay family in Negeri Sembilan, Malaysia. He is the youngest one out of 9 siblings and has 7 older sisters and 1 older brother. So Muhammad Daim is diagnosed with autism and registered OKU. We mainly gather the data through observation, then supplemented it with questionnaires and interviews. So we observe Daim talking to his siblings, his parents, in nature and behaviors using verbal and non-verbal communications.
Here for the findings, so we have two research questions, which are, the first one is, how did the subject acquire his first language? And the second one is, what are the factors that are affecting his first language acquisition? The subject acquired his first language. So there are 5 ways on how the subject acquired his first language, which are innate or biological, imitation, correction and reinforcement, analogy, and last but not least, structured input. We're gonna go to the first way that the subject acquired his first language, which is innate or biological. So he is influenced by the words or the speech that he hears. This is the example. Next, imitation. The subject always imitate his family members whenever they said something. For example, when his brother said menang, then he will imitate him by saying menang. So this is one of his way to acquire his first language. For analogy, so it means that whenever the subject heard a sentence or a speech, he would use it as a model to form another speech or another sentence. For example, when he heard his mother use the tolong buka kipas, ibu panas, and then he will use it as tolong buka kipas, daim panas. Okay, so for the last way of the subject to acquire his first language is structured input. Okay, so this is agreed by his mother, where his mother said that we use baby talk for him because it would make him easier to utter any word. Okay, for example, the verb buang air besar, it's quite long, right? But the family, they simplify it by using the words Okay, now we're gonna go to the second research question, which is what are the factors that are affecting his first language? Okay, so we got two factors, which is biological, and the next one is critical period hypothesis. We're gonna go to the first factor, which is biological factor. Biological factors is the factor that the child is born with and cannot be prevented or avoided. In this case, the subject is born with mild autism, and this affected him in his first language acquisition, where he is slower than other kids in his age. He has narrow interest in some things, in making it hard for him to learn language and use it in his daily life. And he rarely communicates with his family members, especially for social reasons. Another factor is the critical period hypothesis by Wilder Penfield. Hypothesis stated that the first 3 years of life is the most intensive period for children to acquire and learn language. However, this subject has passed this period without any formal education. During the first 3 years of his life, he stayed with his babysitter, and his babysitter used baby talk all the time. This really affects his language acquisition.
So, to summarize our research study, first language acquisition is shaped and influenced mainly by two factors, which are biological and environmental. The subject of our research, Muhammad Daim, had cooperatively helped with the study and managed to answer the research question of how an autistic child acquired their first language and the factors affecting his language acquisition. The subject developed his first language innately, and the environment further shaped its development and enhancement. Through observation, interviews, and questionnaires conducted by one of the researchers with the help of the subject's family members, we successfully collected the data needed for this case study. Our findings show that although Daim is an autistic child, he learns his first language, the Bahasa Melayu, just like other developing children. So although there were some speech delays and lisp, he still managed to learn and acquire the Malay language through imitation, correction and reinforcement, analogy, and structured input. The two factors affecting the subject's language acquisition is the biological factor, as in his mild autism condition, and no exposure to the language during this critical period of growth. This study also proved that children with autism could develop more with the continuous help and support of other people, especially family members. We hope that this research could bring awareness to the interested parties involving the development of autistic children to be given the same education as the rest of the able children in developing first language acquisition proficiently. That's all from us. Thank you.